Hi, and welcome to the Sabbath Christian Church's online sermon, the seventh commandment. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Genesis 1:26 says, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. And he created him, male and female, he created them. And he said, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Exodus 20:14. In the English meaning, adultery means sexual intercourse between a married person and a person who is not his or her spouse. It means infidelity, unfaithfulness, disloyalty, extramarital sex. God believes in marriage, male and female, to one another. The Hebrew is naf, try to say that quickly, commit adultery. Gives other committing adultery in there, but it's a woman that breaks wedlock. That's adultery. The Theological Word Book of the Old Testament says intercourse with the wife or betrothed of another man. So that's the way they look at it, zina. And it is a practitioner of harlotry and fornication. The root occurs 34 times. The importance of this root is a basic social law and theological use of a major element in Israel's religion from God. The Institutes of Biblical Law requires sexual purity. It contrasts with infidelity and promiscuousness sanctioned and practiced by the official cultus of the rest of the Near East. And the religion of Jehovah represents adultery as a heinous crime against God. It comes from a pagan trinitism going back to the time just after Noah, where they built the temple, Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz, which also against the virgin birth. In Job 31:11 it says, It would be a lustful crime, an iniquity, punishable by judges. God doesn't care much for adultery. Wicked, it says. Psalm 51:5 says, I was brought forth in iniquity, and the sin my mother conceived me. It's iniquity. It is perverse. It is a breach of the marriage contract before God, a dishonor done to God by placing man's will above God's. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Why? Because he made woman from a man's rib, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. She was taken out of man. Thou shalt not commit adultery. It's a rebellious act, deliberately, needlessly, the highest sort of theft, stealing a neighbor's flesh, debasing the adulterer. And 1 Corinthians 7:2 it says, Because of immoralities, each man is supposed to have his own wife, and each woman her own husband. That's in the New Testament. It is a higher sort of theft, debasing and making him a wild ass, destroying one's reputation, impairing one's mind. Under Moses, adultery, even with an engaged woman, merited death. If there is a girl who is a virgin engaged to another man, and a man finds her in the city and lies with her, you shall stone them to death, because she did not cry out, and the man because he violated his neighbor's wife. Thus you shall purge evil from among you. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Amen, and thank you for listening and watching.